Long time ago, in the heart of ancient Araromi, where tradition ruled and family honor was law, a stranger arrived, a man running from his past, seeking peace but walking into a storm of love and betrayal. His name was Jacob. Jacob, wearing agbada and sandals, enters Araromi from Canaan, seeking refuge with his uncle Labani, known here as Baba Labani, a wealthy herdsman and tribal elder. He arrives tired, dusty but hopeful. As he rests by the village stream, he sees a young woman leading a flock of sheep. She wears colorful iro and buba, and the sun kisses her face gently. Their eyes meet. Jacob whispers to himself, "Shepherdess of the gods." This is Rese, Labani's youngest daughter, confident, graceful, and radiant like the morning sun. Rese smiling, "Stranger, are you here to water your words or your feet?" Jacob replied, "Whichever makes you stay a little longer." This was the beginning of the secret love story, with whispers meetings under the palm trees and messages passes through younger cousins. Rese took Jacob to her father's compound, where Jacob met Baba Labani. He was welcomed. The next morning, Baba Labani took Jacob to his farmland, where he showed him all he had and made him a master herdsman. As days grows into months, the love between Jacob and Rese grew stronger and stronger. They meet and talk and gist. This was beginning to be noticed by all. Unknown to Jacob, Leah, the older daughter, watches from behind walls. She is kind-hearted, soft-spoken, and often overlooked. Though her eyes are tender and Leah is deeply in love with Jacob, but he barely notices her. To village matchmakers, she is of age, and her unmarried status is an embarrassment to her family. If Labani also sees the growing love between Jacob and Rese. One day, Labani says to his wife, "We must not let Rese marry before Leah. It is not our way." The wife replied, "Don't worry, my husband. I am a woman. I will do all I can to ensure Rese doesn't marry before Leah. It will bring us shame." Leah, who is also tired of being ignored, confides in her mother, who assures her, "Mommy, I really love the young man, but he doesn't even notice me, and I am ripe for marriage. Leave it to me, your mommy. This is Africa. We know how to turn the night into a blessing." That day, a scheme was born. After months and months of their secret love, frequent meetings under the tree and in places, exchange of words and letters, Jacob summoned his courage and went to meet his master and uncle, Baba Labani. And he says, "Baba Labani, let me work for you for 7 seasons, and I will hand Rese's hands in marriage." Labani replied, "So be it." But unknown to Jacob, Labani has a plan. After 7 years of services and yearning love between Jacob and Rese, they are taught that now they will soon become husband and wife. Both of them have been counting months and days, and now the day has finally arrived. Jacob works with unrelenting strength. He becomes a master herdsman, expands Labani's flocks, and earns the respect of the villagers. He was truly blessed by God, and this favor rubbed so much on Labani, which was also known by all. Hence, Labani wasn't even willing to let Jacob leave his own. All this while, his love for Rese grows stronger. They meet in the moonlight to share dreams of their future, building a home, raising children, and traveling back to Canaan. Meanwhile, Leah always watches from afar, her heart breaking. She begins praying for a chance to be loved. She is worried but relies and hopes on her mother's promises. Will Mommy make this happen for me? Will Jacob marry me? He has been working for 7 years for my sister. Is she really worth that much? Am I not beautiful enough? All this thought runs through Leah all the time. Finally, the wedding day arrived. Jacob was so excited, so was Rese. Rese has bought the best clothes. She has told all her friends that she was getting married finally. And then on that day, the family insisted that the wedding must hold at night. Under the moonlight, Jacob was astonished to why it should be at night and why the bride was so covered with heavy veils. But they replied that tradition demands heavy veils and no direct speech with the groom until morning. That was what they told Jacob when he demanded to leave the veil covering his bride's face. Drums sang, palm wine flows. People sang and danced, but in the dark of the hut, Jacob unknowingly marries Leah. Rese was locked up somewhere. She cried her eyes out. At dawn, the rooster crows. Jacob lifts the veil, expecting Rese, but to his amazement, he met someone else, Leah. After confronting Leah about the deception and realizing how deep the manipulation from Labani and the family, Jacob ran to Labani. He is emotionally worn out and he says to him, I worked 7 years for Rese and you gave me a shadow. What is this? The man replied, in Nararomi, we do not give the younger before the elder. If you still want Rese, work another 7 seasons. Jacob insists, no problem, I will work for her. Rese, I will work for you and I'm coming back for you. That was Jacob talking to Rese. Rese, who was standing somewhere, crying her eyes out. Jacob talking to Baba Labani, why didn't you marry Leah to another man? Why me? When you knew the eldest must marry first before the youngest. Why? Why did you do this to me? Why? Leah hides behind the pillar, ashamed but quietly victorious. Then Labani whispered to himself, let him serve me another 7 years and he can have Rese. By then, I would be the wealthiest man all over Africa. With a mischievous smile. This second round of service is harder. Jacob is no longer fueled by hope, but wounded pride and relentless love. He avoids the family compound, often burying himself in work. The village begins to whisper, he's already married. Why kill himself again? Isn't one daughter enough? But Jacob presses on. His love for Rese remains unshaken. In secret, they still meet under the palm grove. At night, at the stream, far from watchful eyes, Rese says to Jacob, do you still love me? Will you marry me? Jacob replies, even if I must serve forever, I will. Rese tearfully, will these years ever end? Jacob smiles softly, even if it takes forever, I will wait for the day I can say you are mine, not just in heart but in name. They are both heartbroken and yearn for each other, but they had to wait another 7 years. Meanwhile, Leah, though now the mother of sons, begins to feel the weight of emotional emptiness. She ran to her mother. I give him sons, but his eyes are never fully mine. She tells her mother, do children count if they are not born out of love? Her heart aches every time she sees Jacob and Rese still glances. But as a man with dignity, Jacob could not divorce Leah. It is not his way, so he had to keep his vow. Hence, he had thought in his heart, I will have to marry 2 wives, since I can't let her go. All this while, Rese grows jealous, seeing her sister with the man she loves, getting pregnant and having his children, living her life. She begins to mock her gently in private. You have the title, but not his heart. Ìfẹ́ gidi kì í parí lójú ìdálẹ́kun. That is, true love does not end at the gate of disappointment. Leah replies her, whatever, I am his wife. Finally, after another 7 long years, Jacob finally fulfills his second term, 14 years in total, for the love of his life. This time, Rese is unveiled with joy under the starry sky. There is no deception, no shadows, just a beautiful celebration under the moonlight, drums and firelight. The whole village gathers. Rese walks through the compound dressed in coral beads and royal blue ashoke. Her beauty blinding, her smile triumphant. She says to Jacob, now I am not just your dream. I am your wife. Jacob holding her hands, and you are my reward. But even in joy, the tension lingers. Leah watches from the window, tears in her eyes. After the wedding, they felt fulfilled. Rese was over the blues and Leah could finally feel the heat. Jacob couldn't hide his love and affection for Rese, hence Leah trying to shift all her attention and love to her children. She then knew that she had a husband, but not his love. He performed his duty as a father and a husband, but never showed her love and affection he has for Rese. Then the house becomes divided. Jacob tries to be fair, but it is clear. Rese is loved, but Leah is fruitful. After several years, Rese couldn't bear a child. Ah, she was downcasted. She would cry while her sister taunts her by bearing more children for their husband. Rese, though deeply loved, struggles with barrenness. One night, Rese cries to Jacob, "Give me children or I'll die." She is heartbroken and cries her eyes out. Jacob turned, "Am I God who closes the womb or that gives children?" Desperately, Rese gives Jacob a maid, Bilai, who bears children on her behalf. She is happy, but deep down, she wasn't satisfied. She felt unfulfilled. Leah, seeing this, does the same too. Spiting her sister, Rese, the hate is deep. "I don't have our husband's love, but I will flood his home with children you can't give him and taunt you with it." So she gives him Zilpah. The houses becomes a battlefield of emotions. Leah wants love, Rese wants legacy, Jacob wants peace. Finally, the legacy grows. Eventually, God remembers Rese. She conceives. It was a beautiful and joyful time for Jacob and Rese. He wouldn't leave her for a minute, doting over her like she was carrying his first child. Leah wondered, "Haven't I borne him several sons? He never pampered me this way." Truly, there is nothing compared to love. Finally, Rese gives birth to Joseph, the child of Jacob's deepest love. Jacob cherished Joseph a lot and never hides it. So it was 14 years, 2 sisters, 4 mothers, 11 sons, and a legacy that will birth nations. Years later, Jacob went to meet Baba Laban and says, "Let me live with my family. I want to provide for my own family and have my own roof." Laban refused because he wanted to continue using Jacob. But Jacob insisted and left the village of Araromi with his wives. Jacob left the village of Araromi with his wives, children, servants, and all his belongings. Jacob was truly blessed despite all the mischiefs of Baba Laban. Jacob left Araromi a wealthy man. And so the tale of Jacob, Rese, and Leah lives on, not just as a story of love and deceit, but of forgiveness, growth, and destiny. For sometimes what we desire is not what we need, and what we ignore may be what saves us.